don't get loser friends. There's loser people out there. Don't get them. Let them be with loser friends. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mindset Podcast, episode 16. Today, we will be talking about who you should have around your circle, your inner circle, who you should be hanging around with. And we're so excited to finally be back, kind of in person, not really. Last week, we went audio only, but we said, no, screw that. We have to be in person. The viewers have to see us. So we're back. We're on Zoom the best we can.
That's right. Again, we always say it, technology has given us the ability to meet, not in person, but face to face, thankfully. And this is episode 16. I can't believe we're already on episode 16.
Oh, 16 already.
16, man. It's been a long.
Time flies.
Yeah, it's been long, but it's nowhere near where we're headed. So we're excited for that. But like Anthony said, we're gonna be talking about your circle. Really surrounding yourself with the right people. Your foundation, it comes from where you come from, your family, your friends, and your acquaintances. So let's get right into it. Anthony, what do you see when you look at your life right now and you see your friends, your family? I know you really don't see your friends now. Obviously, I'm just speaking generally, but when you did see your friends, what is one thing that you could really differentiate yourself and your friends from maybe other circle groups or other kind of personalities that you really think that they resemble in you and really bring the best out of you?
Yeah, sure. So that's a great question. It's a loaded question also, but what I can tell you, Gabe, is we obviously don't have that much experience. We're young. We're 19, 20, so we haven't really like reached the peak of anything. So we have limited experiences. But from what I've seen, Gabe, from like hanging around with other people and high school and middle school and summer camp and whatnot, what I've seen is, unfortunately, man, I've seen a lot of kind of friends of mine or acquaintances I've seen them with their friend group, and it's just it's negative. It's very bad. So I grew up with seeing that. The cool kids would hang out together and they would do things that are not the best. They wouldn't behave the way they should be. They would be doing stupid things in school, class clowns, and they would surround themselves with the same kind of atmosphere. So I would see that stuff, Gabe, growing up, and thankfully, man, my parents steered me the right way and taught me well, and told me to not get involved with those kinds of people because they're just trouble. They're just trouble, unfortunately. I've had a good foundation, thankfully, like I said. So growing up, I've really made an emphasis on, if I want to be successful, I need to hang around with people that are more successful than I am, or at least similar to me in the sense of they have the same vision, they're very driven, motivated, they're goal oriented. That's what I look for in friends in general.
Yeah.
So that's that. It's really sad to see some of my other friends that steered the wrong way and went down the wrong path. And it all goes back to the topic that we're talking about of inner circle friends, man. It's really important.
Yeah, man, that's so true. And when I ask myself that question, I always say to myself, like, we all have a lot of friends, I guess, per se, or I would even call them acquaintances. I consider myself kind of having a tight-knit circle. Even when I was in high school, I knew a lot of people, but they weren't necessarily my friends. I could talk to people here and there,
Yeah.
sit with them in the cafeteria, whatever the case was. But when it really came down to it, the people that I would go to for advice, or, if I needed to vent about something, or I just needed to really get something off my chest, like that circle of friends was very close and very tight knit. Some of them weren't even people from school. My closest friends I didn't even go to school with, believe it or not. It's pretty funny I say that, but I think, like, as humans, we're chameleons. Like, we kind of turn into the people that we hang out. If we hang out with someone too much, we tend to start talking like them, start acting like them, even start dressing like them, if the case is. But I feel like you said, you need to really come to a point in your life, and I did the same thing, especially coming out of high school. I was really just focused on having fun in high school. I really didn't care about what my future held. I really just wanted to live in the moment, and I really wasn't business oriented in high school. So I really wasn't worried about that at that time. But as I graduated high school and transitioned from high school to college, I had a kind of like a reality check, and it really came when I had so many friends or acquaintances, like I said, from high school, and I didn't hear from any of them. Maybe one or two after high
Yeah,
school. I'm sure you can agree with me on this one.
sure.
For some reason, and I'm sure everyone listening can agree with us too. For some reason, when we come out of high school, we feel like, those are our best friends, like best friends for life. Like we're gonna, ride or die, to the end. But case is like that's not really what's going to happen. Like you said, we're so young, and we have so many more experiences and stages in our life, seasons of our life to go through, that we're going to meet so many more people. And I've actually, like I said, the closest friends that I've had didn't really come from school. They came from other places, and even so now as adults, like we've really been a tight bond. But yeah, I really feel like surrounding yourself with the people that you really want to become. And I
Yeah,
think I said it in a different podcast. If you're the smartest one in your circle, then you should get a new circle, because basically coming back to your point, if you want to be successful and you really want to get to the next level, you can't be the standard. You have to surround yourself with people that have either made it, or are on that journey with you, or whatever the case is, because there's different stages along life. But really, when you come to the realization that you want to make it to the next level, there's not too many people that will hang on to that journey with you. So you really have to be, specific and very picky to your circle when it comes to that.
sure. Yeah, and hearing you talk, I just came up with a couple thoughts in my head. So first of all, before we get too deep into it, Gabe, I just wanted to, for our viewers, to let you know. So the first step to creating a great inner circle and really establishing your real tight knit circle, you first have to differentiate what a what a friend. We all have, like Gabe said, we all have friends, but then there's acquaintances, and then there's like inner circle. So those are three different things, right? If we're starting from the bottom up, of course, the floor is like acquaintances, like people and they know you, and hey, good morning, acquaintances, right? You know of them, they know of you, great, that's fine. We can all have hundreds of thousands of acquaintances, negative acquaintances and positive. It doesn't really matter because they're just acquaintances. The highest level is friends, right? You can have a lot of friends, that's fine. I know we all do, most of us at least. And some can be, not the best, and it's okay. You can still have them there for if they need support, you help them out, and you see them at a party, you hang out, whatever. That's great. You don't take anything too literally of what they say. That's fine. Right? The higher we get, the more picky, like you said, Gabe, you have to get. So we go from acquaintances to just friends, and then inner circle. Now, this inner circle is instrumental to your success, as we're going to talk about later on this podcast. Your inner circle reflects who you are,
Yeah.
plain and simple. Like there's no science behind it. No matter what else we say in this podcast or what we said, the summary is your inner circle is a reflection of who you are. That's it, plain and simple. I
Yeah.
mean, so that's why, like Gabe said, you have to be picky, you have to be selective, you have to be selfish with who you choose to surround yourself with, because that can be the difference between being successful and millionaire and achieving your goals versus going down the wrong path and not achieving your goals, being miserable for the rest of your life, getting that job you hate. So it's a simple concept, but yet you have to start early. You can't start late, I think.
Yeah, you hit it right on the nail. And I feel like people, especially us being young, like I said earlier, we all think that we're gonna have friends forever. But I really think we all have the power, like you said, we have to start early, but we all have the power to choose. You know,
Yep.
you come to a point in your life when you decide, look, this is what I want for my life, this is my end goal. You really have to take a step back, I believe, and really, analyze your friends, your tight knit circle, like you say, and see, look, is this person benefiting me? Am I benefiting him? Like, you really have to kind of ask yourself that, because if the answer is no, either way, then that person probably isn't the right person to be in your life or in your friend circle or in your inner circle, whatever the case is.
Yeah, exactly. And to your point, Gabe, I think what we've mentioned before on our podcast is that a relationship, right? Friendship is a two-way street. Like if I'm giving, let's say Gabe, let's use us as an example. Like if I'm giving you more than you're giving me, then that's not a friendship. That's not a relationship. That's a one-way street. That's me giving you value. I'm giving you value. But if you don't give me value back, that's not a friendship. So it's very important when you guys decide your inner circle, who's in, who's out. Look around you, who's giving you value, and ask yourself, am I giving them value back? It's a transaction. I give you value, you give me value, 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 value. It all goes down to that very small word, value.
Yeah.
Value equals friendships, right? So it works both ways. Like make sure you're not giving other people too much value. Like I like to say, make sure you're not watering dead plants,
Hmm.
and also make sure that people aren't giving you a lot of value and you're not giving back. That's something that you need to fix ASAP.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's either way. Like you said, it's a two-way street. And I
The
feel
two,
like along with value, there's a couple more words and characteristics that I can think of when it really comes to choosing your inner circle. Um, and one of those is character. I feel like and character is a combination of a bunch of different characteristics. But character, another one for me is trust. Trust is the type of thing that it could take years to build, but it can be lost in a second. You know,
yep, yep,
and that's the type of thing that you really need to find in a partner, or it's a friend or a business partner, whatever the case is. Trust needs to be there, no matter what. And then also another one for me is respect. And trust and respect kind of go hand in hand, because if you don't respect them, chances are you're not going to trust them, or you're not going to you know obey. You're not going to you don't care to lie to them or whatever it is, because you really don't care about them at the end of the day. That's basically what respect is. So I feel like those 3 4 attributes are really what I look at when I'm choosing my friend group. And I know it's hard to say like, oh, I choose my friends, but at the end of the day, you do choose your friends. Like you can't choose your family, but you
yeah,
can choose your friends. And if those friends that you choose at the end of the day aren't really, like you said, giving you value, and you're not returning the value back, and they're not fulfilling those other 3 or 4 attributes that I mentioned, then they're probably not the best candidate to be in your inner circle.
hmm yeah, exactly. I Gabe, I can tell you, I have plenty of friends. My inner circle, I can count them on my hand.
Yeah.
Like that. And by inner circle, like let me tell you what I mean by inner circle, because I'm assuming you can make your own definition of an inner circle. For me, an inner circle is is someone or a group of people that I can tell anything to, like the most confidential thing, and I promise you, I have like 0%, doubt that they'll say anything or tell anybody this. Like I trust them like fully. Like the trust has been established and it's there, you
Mhm.
know. So that's what an inner circle is to me. Someone I can call at 4 in the morning and they'll most likely pick up. Someone that I could call to when I'm in a tough situation and I need their advice. And also, look at this. What I just said reminded me of something. It's your inner circle should be filled with people that can give you value. For example, Gabe, I know I can call you like I've done before at any time about any problem, and you won't just listen to me. That's great. Listening, that's nice. But where I can get value from you is if you give me value by giving me advice, giving me tips, like, hey Anthony, I don't think you should do this. I think you should do that. Or how about instead of talking to that person, you say this to the other person.
Yeah.
And that's a I don't want to say, but those are the scenario, but that's something that you've done with me recently, and it's been really helpful. And that's why I know I can always count on you. That's why I go to you whenever I have issues,
Yeah.
issues and successes. Like I've told you my greatest successes, like great days, we're feeling good, and I've told you like my worst days, like bro, this happened to me today, and like I said, it goes beyond just listening to me. You give me value, so
Exactly.
that's what I look for in an inner circle. That goes for you and the other 3 or 4 people that I have in my inner circle. It's that.
Yeah. No, I hear you 100%. And I feel like, again, basically what you said, giving value. And it's also the type of person, because like I've been part of groups of friends or communities that they're like, I don't know, I don't want to use the word fake, but they're fake. I feel like a lot of people, they want to be liked, and sometimes this facade is what they need to put on in order to be accepted or to be valued as a person. But being transparent and really honest and open with people, that's what really attracts people. I feel like we've seen it now firsthand, especially going on with this whole pandemic, the coronavirus. People are coming out like on social media, like you see like celebrities, athletes coming out on social media and talking about their experiences and really being transparent and relatable. with their fans, because for a lot of people, those celebrities or, those famous people have been such an icon to them that they think they're this perfect figure, that there's can be nothing wrong with them, but they're going through the same things that we can, like that we're going through, and I feel like that's such an important, trait to have in a friend, because someone that always makes it look like they're perfect and makes it look like there's nothing going on, those are the people you really want to stay away from, because no one's perfect. People always have gone through things. People have always, had experiences, and sometimes that might just be, a defense mechanism to kind of hide it. But at the same time, you really want to choose people that you can be open with, and they can be open back with you.
Sure, yeah, and also I wanted to add that the reason why I trust in you so much and why you're part of my inner circle and a few others is because I trust you to tell me the hard truth, the
Mm,
ugly truth, right? I don't want to call someone who's just gonna be like, hey, it's okay, Anthony, you're great, you're awesome, this and that. Like, I don't want that because that's not gonna help me. Again, it goes back to value. The reason why I value you, our relationship, Gabe, so much is because I know I can tell you the situation, whatever it is, good or bad, and you'll tell it how it is.
mm,
Like if there's something I messed up and I'm not noticing it, I'm blindsided by that, I can trust you that for you from an outside perspective, you're gonna tell me, okay, Anthony, you screwed up. This is where you messed up, right? And that will add more value to my life and potentially save the scenario, the issue, versus if you just say, oh, Anthony, it's them. Don't worry about it. That
yeah.
doesn't help me. So that's why also an extremely important part of your inner circle. Pick people who you think will tell you the ugly truth and tell you how it is. And
Mm,
also, last thing that I want to mention before we move on, because I know we have other things to discuss, relating this topic is that it all starts with you. Yeah, we're talking about right now. The topic is about other people around you, but in reality, it starts with you and
mm,
how much you value yourself. What I'm trying to say is that don't settle for friends.
yeah.
Like don't settle just to be cool and just because oh whatever, I'm comfortable now with this person. Although they might do X, Y, and Z, it's okay. I'll settle. No, that is not a 10xer. That's loser mentality. If you want to have a successful mindset, if you want to have good friends, it starts with how much you value yourself. Like Gabe, I value, and I say this in the most humble way ever, and I mean this, is that I value myself a lot. I know what I bring to the table in any friendship, any relationship is a lot because I put in a lot of effort to every single one of my friendships. Like
Yeah.
I do 100% or nothing. So for you, Gabe, like I value you and I don't settle for anything else. Like I'm picky with who I pick to be around my circle the way it should be. And
Yeah.
that's why you're here and a couple other people that are like the selected to be around me,
Yeah.
and that'll these people that I have around me, you and the three other people, are gonna make me a better person versus if I pick, my friend from middle school because I settled. So see, I'm not settling here. You're not settling here.
Yeah. It comes back to a game of self-awareness. Like you said, you value
Yeah,
yourself a lot. And it's
yeah.
so true, because if you're not able to look yourself in the mirror and say, look, this is what I bring to the table, this is what I can offer, this is what I want in my life. If that person that you're saying is your friend or is in your inner circle isn't returning the favor, then what's the point?
If
Like,
you don't value yourself, you're not gonna expect anything from other people. Like I value myself a lot, so my expectations of you and the three other people are high. Like the bar is high because I value myself a lot. Like I know what I bring, and you know what you bring. So it's like I'm not gonna settle for like Pedro down the street. Like no, like it's up here. Like if you want to be around me, you got to be up here. You got to be a 10xer.
yeah. No, and to add on to that, this is like a little side note. We've talked about it in different podcasts too, about, being, happy with yourself too. That's another like, I guess that's another add on to, valuing yourself, because you can't fulfill other people if you can first fulfill yourself. And I feel like that's so important, whether it's relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend, or friendships, like whoever it is. You can't really speak life into someone's situation if you can't take your own advice. If you have to really put yourself in that person's position, and obviously we haven't all gone through things. Like I might not have through the same situation that you've gone through, Anthony, but whatever, I think like I can give you advice because I am confident in my ability and I'm happy with myself that I can do that. Sometimes people This is so true. This has actually happened to me. People have actually given me advice that they know they should be taking, but they give it to me. You know,
Mhm.
that's even happened to me. Like I've told people, look, man, you should be doing this and that, but I know myself. The words that are coming out of my mouth are what I should be telling myself. You know,
Yeah.
and that's not a good situation to be in, because if that ever happens, it means that you need a reality check, and you need to put yourself back into the position you need to be in. You know, I think that's a big, attribute to being valuing yourself is happiness, long term, and self-awareness that we're talking about.
Yeah, it starts with you. We're talking about inner circle, but it comes down to self awareness. That's the core of everything. Everything is self awareness, looking yourself in the mirror. So yeah, I think wow, that was straight fire we just spit there. Oh,
um,
some good stuff. I'm gonna have to rewatch this one, bro, for me. No, good stuff, man. But
is-
so we talked about this first half of our podcast. We talked about inner circle regarding like friendships, right? Like people our age, maybe a little bit older, but friends. Now I want to get into the tough part, which some people may not agree. So this is gonna be fun. The family aspect of this inner circle, right? Because there's your inner circle can be made up of and should be made up of, not should, but can be, I guess, made up of your friends, some friends slash like family members,
Mhm.
right? At least that's the case for me. Like I
Yeah.
have you guys, and then I have my parents, my sister, and that's pretty much it. So, but that gets tricky. I'm, thankfully, really thankful that my parents have always been very supportive of me. Super, I get this motivation, this whole like who I am because of them and what they've instilled in me. So, thankfully, I owe them everything. But and you too, Gabe. I mean, your parents have and your family is like the backbone of you, who you are. I know that.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I guess my question to you, Gabe, is we all aren't this fortunate. So we have some. I know some friends that they have parents that are negative,
Yeah.
like that. Like they're always complaining. They're always making excuses. They're not there for them. They're not supportive of their child. Like really bad situations. I'm sure we all know somebody. So I guess my question to you, Gabe, is if you're a 19-year-old kid, let's just say, right, someone like us, in that environment of just constant negativity, constant um no support, like anything that you try to do that's like 10x, they shoot it down.
Yeah.
What's your advice? I mean, you live with these people, like we're not talking about friends anymore. Like friends, if you have a negative friend, it might be easier to cut off. But now when we're talking about family, like mom and dad that are just negative, what do you do?
That's a tough question, because it's like it really comes down to two things. You first is self-awareness, always, like you said,
Yeah.
but self-awareness in the sense that, I mean, like, does that 19-year-old, like, do they know that their parents are being negative? Like, if they can really identify, look, my mom and my dad, like, they keep putting me down. I want to start this business, I want to start this blog, but they keep, like, they keep, showing negativity towards it. They keep shooting my ideas down. I don't even know what to do. If I'm a 19-year-old, in those shoes, what I'm gonna do, honestly, with the best of my ability, I'm gonna try to tune that out the best I can.
Yeah.
Um, and some people might not like this, but move out. Like, if you have the ability to, and obviously the financial blessings to, move out, get your own place, move in with 5 guys in a studio apartment and start your dream. I'm sure your parents might be like, they might be heartbroken at first, but when push comes to shove, like, you need to do you for your own life. Your parents have gone, especially at 19, 20 years old, your parents have done their best up until that point to really bring you up in the best way they can. Now, if you're talking about a 14, 15-year-old kid, will they be with their parents? Then unfortunately, they're just going to have to tough it out and try to tune them out the best way they can for the next couple of years. But if I was in that situation where my parents kept, you know, turning me down, they kept, like, just talking negativity and really bad things that I didn't really want to hear, what I would do is I would really work my butt off for a couple months, maybe a year or so, where I can try to build a financial income, a steady financial income where I could really live on my own. Because that's really all you can do. And I know it sounds bad, like, oh, moving away from your parents because they're bad people. They're not bad people, they're just not the right voice you should be listening to. you know
Right.
and they're always going to be your parents. Like, they're always going to be there for you no matter what, because you know parents, they love you. You know, that's their number one job. That's their joy. They want to love you as much as they can, but sometimes their opinion doesn't always line up with yours. So that's when it really needs to come down to, you need to, you know, just separate yourself physically from them so you stop hearing that negativity. You know, you could give them a call every once in a while. Hey mom, hey dad, how's it going? Like, you want to come over for dinner, whatever. That's cool. But you know, if it's a day in, day out type of, if they're always, you know, speaking negativity, they're always putting you down, then that might be a tough, you know, learning environment to be in.
Sure. Yeah, exactly right. I think kind of to summarize what you said, and whether you're older, a little bit older, like 19, or you're 10 years old or 15, I think the number one thing to do is realize that your parents or family members' negativity is not normal. Like it's not the world. It's not everything, right? It's just unfortunately you have at the moment some bad guidance, but just be aware that that's not right. Like that's not the way you should. That's not the way you should be. So right. So that's the first thing, being aware, like you said. And number two is really, I think what I would do is, of course, yeah, the best thing to do is move out when you can, if you can. I know a lot of people can't. So for those of you that can't, I think the best thing that you can do is, once you're aware, it's easier to tune that negativity out. Like it's hard, I get it, because you're living with these people. So
Yeah,
there's so much you can do, but you can try the best to tune some of that out. Like hear it, yeah, okay, you can hear all the negativity coming from your loved ones, but don't let it sink in. And number three, what I would say is, on your free time or whenever you can, like listen to positivity. Like plug in your earphones, close your door, and put on Gary Vee or Eric Thomas or motivational speakers. It's as easy as going onto YouTube and putting motivation.
yeah,
Click the first video that pops up, and it's like positive affirmation. I do that sometimes. Um, well, it's in the shower or late at night or whatever the case may be. I plug in my headphones and I look up. There's a thing called on YouTube, you can find it, affirmations, like positive affirmations, and it's just like a guy talking of like positive affirmations, and like saying, like, for example, I am great, I will be a millionaire, I have claimed success, like very like inspirational like things,
yeah.
as if you were talking. And trust me, after 10-15 minutes of just hearing positive information, you will then change your mindset. A habit that I got accustomed to is, every morning, the first 30 minutes of my day, which is usually while I'm in the shower, I will put in like Eric Thomas or motivational speakers or Gary Vaynerchuk, some positivity to get my day going. Thankfully, there's nobody in my house that has negative vibes. But anyway, I like to do that in the morning, because scientifically, it shows that the first 30 minutes of your day that you listen to, or the way you feel in the first 30 minutes, continues throughout your day. Like that vibe, those first 30 minutes is how you'll live the rest of your day. So
That's so,
what do I do? The first 30 minutes or 15 minutes sometimes, just straight positivity, sorry. Straight positivity, like down my throat. Just positivity, and boom. I get my day started, and I'm not negative. There's no way I can be.
yeah, that's so good. I've actually, during this whole quarantine, I like to read, but honestly, I haven't had the time up until this whole quarantine to actually read on a daily basis. So that's something that I've kind of, you know, made it a goal of mine. And
Yeah,
I've just already finished 2 books during this quarantine. I've been reading, like you said, for the first 30 minutes of my day. I
good,
just go outside and I read. You know,
good.
I don't really, you take a bottle of water, go outside, read. You know, I listen to, you know, the birds chirping, you know, the trees, you know, in the wind, whatever it is, like it feels so good, you know? And it's so true what you said, the first 30, 40 minutes of your day can really take, you know, take effect what the rest of your day looks like. Because I've had days that I wake up and to an email that I really don't want to look at, or, you know, a bad grade on my test, or, you know, bad news from a client or whatever it is. And, you know, that's the first thing you wake up to. That's it. The rest of your day doesn't really feel right. I could really attest to the fact that those 30, 40 minutes in the beginning of my day, reading really just puts my mind at ease and gives me like a peace of mind to go on with the rest of my day.
Sure, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And to stay on the topic of, if your family members are negative, listen to podcasts. Read, like you said, Gabriel. Work out. You have to get out of that negative environment in whatever way you can. Whether
Yeah.
that's eating out, even more so in that situation where you have negative family members that you live with. Even more so, your inner circle has to be top notch, right? Because if you can't necessarily rely on your family, even though you love them, I get it, it's hard, but it's a reality for a lot of people. The people you love the most may be the worst people for you, or not as good. So even more so in those circumstances, you really need to fine tune your inner circle, and do get out of the house. Go work out, go hang out with positive friends, listen to the mindset podcast. I know, any podcast, but our podcast too. I mean, we gave our mission, Gabe, is just to share as much knowledge that we can with our viewers, and positive knowledge, and practical tips that we've done in all of our podcasts. So
Yeah.
I think a great way to get started is look at our past 16 podcasts. I mean, we've pretty much covered almost every base that there is regarding like leadership and motivation. So we have it. It's on YouTube. It's 10 minutes of your life that can potentially change the rest of your life. Our podcast or any other podcast, it doesn't matter. The point is that we want to help you, no matter what that looks like, what form, whatever. We just want to help you. So if that's us, if that's somebody else, Mazel tov, fantastic.
Yeah, and I know right now, whatever we're saying, it could be really tough because right now we literally can't see anyone but our family. And it really sucks for those people that are, surrounded by, negative family members or, those type of people. But I guess to give practical advice, like today I went on a bike ride for an hour, and like I put my headphones in, I listened to a sermon and some music. Like I really just, and I'm not doing this to get away from my family. I just did it to like get outside. But that's definitely something that you can do. I mean, I don't like that was just an hour of my day in the morning that really, again, set the tone for the rest of my day because I got outside, I had fresh air, and like I listened to what I wanted to listen to positivity and to affirmation that really, put me in a good place. Like I'm trying to give some practical advice as to what we can do right now in this certain situation. Because I know, unfortunately, for some people, they're in some pretty bad situations at home. So the best way to really, negate yourself from that and separate yourself from that is just, again, being self-aware and putting yourself in a positive environment where you can really control. And that's the way you're going to start building that awareness.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. And something that I've noticed in myself actually is that I've noticed that when I'm hanging around people, in school, sometimes when I'm in the lounge, in the library, or when I'm at a gathering with some of my friends, something that I've noticed is that I really like notice it now, that whenever somebody is being like negative or complaining or something, like I catch that. Like it's like, ooh, like it's like that thing that it develops. Like you're not gonna get it at the beginning, but once you fine tune yourself and you're like positive, like consistently, that one time, whether a friend or not, just somebody like complaining about a test or saying how bad their day was, or they're not looking forward to tomorrow, or oh, it's Monday. Like once somebody says that and I catch it, I'm like, ooh, no, ooh, no, we gotta get away from that. But you'll see that one. I'm talking to the viewers at this point. For those of you who haven't fine-tuned that positivity, who haven't mastered that yet, it's totally okay. It's a process. But once you get to that level where it's just like, you don't complain at all, you'll never hear me complain, that's for sure. Once you get to that level and you hear other people around you complain or stuff like that, you really catch it. You really, really catch
And
it.
the thing is, like, again, everything goes back to self-awareness. Like things could be so much worse.
Yeah.
If you really put yourself in a situation and you really think and ask yourself, damn, is this situation that I'm complaining about really bad?
Right.
Because like ask yourself, what are you accomplishing by complaining? You're accomplishing nothing, So if you can just turn that complaining into something grateful, like the next time you go complain about, a bad test, be like, all right, I got a bad test on this one, but now I'm grateful that I have another chance to get and redeem myself and get a better grade. There's
Sure.
always a positive to the negative.
Sure. Yeah, and you always got to learn from your experiences. But anyway, to wrap things up, because I know we're running out of time here a little bit. Basically, kind of, my last kind of tips, and Gabe, you can chime in as well, and then we'll wrap this up. Is that your inner circle is everything, guys. Like, if there's any podcast that's the most like practical and the most useful, I mean, all of them are, but the most, it would be this one. Like, once you are able to establish your inner circle, your life will change. I promise you, guaranteed. Once you establish your inner circle as successful, hustling people, then I promise you, your life will change. But they have to be people who have a vision, people who are motivated, people who want to do things in the world. Don't get loser friends. There's loser people out there. Don't get them. Let them be with loser friends. Let their inner circle be losers. Let them go. Don't settle. With that, I wrap it up.
Awesome. I don't even need to say anything else. I mean, just to add on to what you said, I don't want to repeat what you said, but to add on to that, I mean, the choice is in your hands, basically.
Yep.
Like Anthony said, don't have loser friends. That might offend some people because you have loser friends right now.
Where it is.
At the end of the day, you have the ultimate choice to say this person is toxic in my life. He's not providing any value. He's not really speaking life into my situations. He needs to go, or she needs to go. Whatever the case is, the choice is in your hands. You really have the power to say, look, Pedro, whoever it is, I'm just using the guy that you said.
Pedro. Poor Pedro, man.
Poor Pedro. But hey, just be like, hey, Pedro, look, I'm really not enjoying. You can even talk to them. Give them a chance if you really want to. Be like, yo, I'm not really appreciating the negativity that you're really speaking around me. If you want to continue that negativity, you can talk that negativity over there. Like, I don't want any part of it, Give them a chance, because obviously some people unfortunately might not be brought up in the right household. So some people might not be aware of the negativity that they're speaking onto. So they might need another person of guidance, of influence to speak into their situation. So, we don't know who we're dealing with, but, fact of the matter is we all have a choice to say yes or no. Again, we're not going to have friends forever. Some of them, yes, we're going to have our inner circle friends, hopefully till the day we die. But we really, at the end of the day, we have the choice to pick friends. And for those who we can't pick, like our families, we have the choice to listen to what they're saying. So with that being said, Gabe out.